You want to know what my opinion is, though? I honestly, I think the cover is ridiculous. Okay,
Really?
yeah, I do, and the reason is because obviously it's well drawn.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't argue with how good the skill of the artist is, but hiring an erotic artist, you obviously know what you're getting.
Exactly. That's my point, right?
Okay. Now, that being said, this is a superhero, a fantasy character. They're trying to market these characters not only to kids but to females, right?
Yeah.
So you have a character you're trying to market to females, and you market her by drawing her in a pose that is, I'm going to argue, more appealing to a male gaze than a female gaze. What do you think?
I would think so, yeah.
Okay, but what's your take on it? You don't think there's any problem with the cover?
I guess I wouldn't say I don't think there's a problem. My problem lies more with Marvel twofold. First of all, when you hire Milo and Manara to do your covers, you know what you're getting. So it was a conscious decision by Marvel, and they can deny it all they want, but that's why he's there, to draw that.
Sure.
That's why if you look at most of those variant covers, I think about 95% of them are the female characters. I don't know, it just seems odd to me that they would cave from outside pressure. Like, most of it was, from what I gather, most of it was from everybody outside the comic industry.
You know what? I got to say, I think I'll agree with you, because with that, first of all, I don't think they should have hired him. Not to say they shouldn't have hired him, but he shouldn't have done the cover that way in the first place because of who the character is. And again, the viewer is going to confuse comic books, the medium, with superheroes, the genre. I'm not saying comic books can't have erotic art. I'm not saying comic books can't do anything they want. They can. Superheroes are a fantasy genre for an all ages group, I think, mostly for children, unless you're doing a deconstructionist story like Watchmen, which Spider-Woman is not. I know because I've read the Spider-Woman stories. It's not a deconstructionist superhero story. It's a relatively fun. It's got a little bit of shield in there, a little bit of spy intrigue, but it's for all ages. I do disagree with Marvel caving to pressure, because in the past, if you remember back in the 90s, Marvel actually caved because of one reader complaining that he didn't want to have to explain to his kids what a Nazi was. So the policy became for the next 5 to 10 years that the Red Skull was no longer a Nazi. And that's the slippery slope. I know what you're saying. True. Censorship, if you allow it at this level, you can apply it to anything. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So really then, what's the solution? What should they do?
I mean, ideally, maybe you let that cover out and then you don't do any more, right? I mean, it was already solicited and everything. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there is a perfect solution. I mean, I know DC and Marvel are going out of their way right now to kind of, they were over-sexualizing a lot of their female characters, for sure, especially when the New 52 started with like Red Hood and the Outlaws and Catwoman. And they've really kind of tried to do a 180 on that.
Sure.
And I mean, you got to commend them for that. So I guess in hindsight, it does kind of seem counterproductive, maybe a bit.
Yeah. You know what? I think that if Marvel had a better reason for doing the cover, they could have stuck to their guns, because they could have stuck to that reason, right?
Yeah. Good point. I agree.
Darwin Cook once told us that he thinks that DC and Marvel cater to the perverted needs of 45-year-old men. What do you think about that statement?
Unfortunately, it's probably true. And I would like to believe that not all of them do. But certainly some. It's hard to argue that some of them do.
And you being 45 and me being a pervert, we are the perfect people to ask.
I'm 44, by the way.